Welcome to Squatch-D TV, exploring the Bigfoot mystery each week with your hosts, veteran researcher, author, and TV personality, the Squatchdetective, Steve Kulls, and from the Bigfoot Research Project of Kentucky, Chris Bennett. Sit back and buckle up as we bring you guests from around North America discussing the Bigfoot phenomena, but not without a few laughs, too. Here are your hosts, Steve and Chris.
And good evening, cyberspace. Welcome to Squatch-D TV for today's date, February 25th, 2024. I'm your host, your guy, the Squatchdetective, Steve Kulls, along with my co-host right down there, Mr. Chris Bennett.
Steve, how you doing, man?
Not too bad. I forgot my camera's not in a wide angle. It's right here in front of my face, so I can talk to everybody now.
Yeah, I rearranged my lighting a little bit, so I don't look like I'm completely like whitewashed out a corpse.
And of course, hello to Nikki. Hello, Nikki.
Hi, everybody.
Good to see you.
Long time no see.
I love your fighting stance there, Nikki, by the way.
I do too. Man, it's tough. It's so tough.
And if you want me to, I can send you that raw graphic too.
I do. Yeah, it's cool.
Anyhow, well, been a very...
Steve, the chat is hopping. The chat is hopping.
The chat is definitely hopping. And, the weather has been beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
Little cold sometimes in the mornings, but very nice during the days.
Oh, we had a nice day.
And just think, less than a month away and we'll be in spring.
Yeah.
Less than a month.
Well, it's already starting to, today it was warm, but we got a little rain, but that's okay because, spring is kind of wet. That's
and I'm not really, every time I get like these notifications, snow expected. We've got nothing but rain.
Yeah.
So,
wow.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be 80 here today.
Yeah, it's supposed to be very warm over the next few days too, which, hey, I'm not going to complain. Obviously I mentioned it briefly on Friday, but it was kind of a sad week last week when I learned about the passing of one of my early mentors, Bill Brand. And he was my first real field mentor. Bill was 80 something at the time of his passing. And for the last, 20 years or so, he had macular degeneration. So he was losing his eyesight a bit, which, unfortunately was very frustrating to him, because made a lot of field research really difficult for him, in his later years. But for the most part, he was generally a fit guy. And, he loved his Corvette, and he would go to car shows all the time, and that was his other hobby. But quite a great guy. And if you watch the Monster Quest Bigfoot in New York, it features Bill Brand as it's a couple of times Bill Brand and I are together on that. And thank you, Mike. Yeah, it's kind of a rough one. We did have a falling out for a while, but we about 6 years ago, we actually kind of mended the fences, and he gave me input on a lot of my the last couple of books I wrote, and I felt really good when I got a phone call and he says, I just finished your book, and spot on. So that was really nice of him.
Yeah,
and,
that means a lot.
Yep. It's like first there's Joe, now there's Bill. I mean, it's been a rough, few months, but, I'll say this, and this is, and I'll get off the soapbox. This is why this is one of the greatest things to do in your life. Some people consider it a curse. Some people consider it obsessive, but I've met a lot of great people over my many years of doing this. I mean, yeah, there are a few butt nuggets, but that happens everywhere, right?
Yeah.
But I have friends all around the country, and I have one right down there in the very bottom there, Nikki, in the great state of Texas. So,
yep.
And so anyway,
all over the world, really. Yeah.
We're all in for the
great
great
You got
cause.
friends all over the world, man, because, you went to over when you did the Nessie show for Nat Geo.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's funny you mentioned that because this Friday, I'll be doing a recorded podcast with a up-and-coming cryptozoologist, Bigfoot researcher over in the UK. And he got talking to me, and he's actually 14 years old.
Oh, wow. Starting out good.
So, you know, and he reached out to me. I said, I'd gladly. He goes, well, I'm only 4. I'll gladly do it. So,
Nice.
Yeah. And I love getting out there over the pond. I love my English fans and for fans all around the world. And, you know, I know Relic Hominin is out there. Well, probably not watching the show, but they'd give me a comment on the video we posted today. And we'll talk more about that in a bit. But, you know, it's always great reaching out. So anyway, let's get on to the roll call in the chat. Yeah. And then we'll get on to the night's show. So let's do that.
Oh, wow.
First up and first in is Danny Staten. And Danny said, love Nikki.
Danny.
We all love Nikki, Dan.
I go and watch all his
John
over stuff out there.
John over at Sasquatch Wizard or Sasquatch Wizard Adirondacks. Nikki's a quality person, great role model, and good friend. God bless Nikki and all who love her. So then we got Walter Kroll, Relic Hominin again, swung in, said, have a great show. Catch you tomorrow as always.
Catch you on the replay, Relic. Good to see you.
Sharon's in the house. Also said, have a great show. Nikki is one of the best.
Love
Uncle
you,
Bones too. The Bat Mom who says,
Bones?
you know, Sasquatch Wizard Adirondacks. I second that.
Bat Mom.
And of course, Henry May is in the chat.
Henry, good to see you, bud.
Little Kilroy was here.
Little Kilroy.
Sandra Piper, good to see you again.
Sandra,
I got Jeff, Mr. 2505 Federal. Bigfoot's a punk. Green Paws. Well, we can address that. Green Paws' researcher. I thought she debunked frauds. Well, isn't that
we'll get into that.
We'll get into that. Walter Kroll in the house. Walter, hello. How are you? Angel Nolan. Who else? Anita's in the house. Anita, welcome.
Hey, Anita.
Patrick Collins, there he is.
Pat, good to see you.
My good neighbor in the same county as I.
I'm lost.
I'm getting there.
I'm scrolling, but I'm lost.
It's Hargrove in the house. Hello, Mitch. Good to see you, sir.
Mitch.
Please.
Welcome.
Brian and Chewy go hiking, driving and listening, getting my gear for Florida. Agora Expedition. Very good. Excellent. Out there with he's going.
I want to go.
Yeah, me too. I just don't have the time off. Low Rider in the house. Low Rider.
I see Jay. Jay Fritz.
Grasshopper's in the house. Walter Kroll.
Grasshopper. Walter.
Jay. Tom Conley. Hello, Tom. Good to
welcome.
So getting there. P Fish. Hello, welcome, P Fish. Good to see you.
P Fish.
Welcome aboard.
Hey. Pat.
Oh, okay. Very good. Good to see you. Ammon Chris is in the house.
Ammon Chris, welcome.
Dennis Conroy, good to see you, Dennis. And saying notifications worked for me. Excellent.
Good.
Finding the Trackway is in the house. Hello, Bill. Good to see you. Sharon, if we have, I think we mentioned Sharon before. DM Zabo. There, DM Zabo in the house. Mike from Tactical Bigfoot Research. Hello, Mike. Good to see you, my brother.
Welcome, Tack.
It's getting that time of year, Tack. Time to get back out in the field for us. Up in the great Adirondacks.
Oh, wow. This chat has really been busy. You got
Alex Petikoff is in the chat.
Alex.
Hello, Alex. Good to see you.
Alex.
Buttworm. Hello, Buttworm. Looking as always.
Welcome back. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Rod Dupree. Rod. Hey, Rod. I haven't seen you in a while. Welcome back. Mike Stetton. Good to see you, Mike.
Mike. Welcome.
Don Gumow is in the house as well. Don, good to see you, brother. And I think we got just about everybody. If we missed anybody, we apologize. And for those, one of the great things that YouTube has actually done was create an RSS feed, live feed. So basically, when this show gets the audio version, gets uploaded to our other platform, which is the Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon, Audible, all that fun stuff, that gets converted to an audio podcast so people can listen in the car. They can play it at work. They can listen into their, it's on Apple Podcast. It's on Google. It's everywhere almost.
That's good.
Anywhere that's
audio, the audio file's smaller, great for less.
But now they also get piped in. An audio version gets sent to YouTube as well. And the response to YouTube podcasts on the audio side has been great. So welcome, everybody. And we appreciate your support and patronage there. And here we are. And I also want to just throw out one more piece of business before we get on to our getting on is if you haven't become a channel member, it starts at 99 cents. And we're doing something really good this week. Every once in a while, I will throw out a seminar this Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. I'm actually doing a seminar on some of the tools I use to dig into this Bigfoot mystery. And for those who didn't know, we dug into one today and actually kind of solved what the problem was. It was that Bigfoot face that people were thinking was a photograph. And there was all kinds of conjecture going on back and forth. And as it turned out to be, it was, well, watch the video. Yeah. But I'm not going to explain the process of how I did it, but I will Wednesday night. I'll break it down exactly how that was done as well. So,
Nice.
So anyway, let's get to the show. Nikki, how the heck are you?
I'm good. I'm doing good. Staying busy. We've had a lot of stuff going on the last couple of weeks. That's kept me, on the computer looking for stuff, and we got it taken care of. Hopefully, we'll see what happens in the future. But I don't know. What do you say? It just
right.
Some people don't like what we do, so
well, I'm glad you brought that up because how tough is it really to do what we do?
Pretty tough. You've got to have a pretty thick skin, and I don't have nearly the skin I need as you and Brent, or maybe even Blake recently doing stuff. But it's about remembering where it's coming from and who's attacking you and who's saying stuff and how you take that. Are they attacking your words, or are they attacking you personally? And that can say a whole lot about the situation.
Right. Well, hey, welcome, Pat, right? Patfish? Is that
Yeah.
Yeah. Welcome, Pat. Thank you. He became a YouTube member. Awesome.
Good to see you. Thank you. Glad to have you aboard.
Yeah.
Welcome aboard the good ship Squatch-D TV.
Now, it's kind of funny. Chris and I, and I'll say this: Chris does work hard at digging stuff up too. He was responsible for more than one debunking I've done or put out there. But and Chris admits that he wants me to be the face of this and not him. Right? Right. And there's a lot of times I get requests to investigate people all the time. And sometimes I'll do an investigation and it'll lead to somebody else, somebody that's on my friends list, somebody I know, and somebody that was well respected. And I haven't exposed this particular person yet, but this person was a very liked researcher. And this person said they interviewed somebody off a video that doesn't exist. Right. The person does not exist, made the video yet. The person made claims and then they made claims about their provenance, about their degree. So then I started researching a little bit about the degree and found out the actual area of the degree was not offered at the college this person was stating they went to.
Right.
And it was a biology degree, but it wasn't a wildlife biology degree. They offered a general biology degree and another type of biology, but not a wildlife biology degree. But yet this person claims that they're a wildlife biologist. And they claim they got their wildlife biology degree from this school, which doesn't offer it. And so I sat there and I'm like, well, do I really? So sometimes I have to pick my battles, because is that person very active in research anymore? No. That person apparently is preoccupied with life, which is fine by me. But they're making, so if they want to bring up that argument that, hey, I interviewed this person, this is, then I'll have to bring out the rest. Oh, really? You did interview this person? Then produce them. Produce them. Right.
And I've even found that where people will send me things they want me to check out, and they think I'm immediately going to put up something to discredit this person. But I haven't done the background. I haven't done the research. I haven't done you when you're in this position, it's important that you have some kind of receipts or some kind of proof of what you're saying, right? Something. And many times I go to Steve, or I said, hey, look at this. This is what I got. And Steve's told me it's not enough.
Thank you, Jay.
Jay, appreciate it. Thank you so much.
And I've said, okay, well, at this point, anything I show to Steve, if he wants to run with it, he can run with it. And the same kind of like with Brent too, is that there's been things I've found and I just give it over. I just take it, do it. That's kind of your thing. I kind of want to stick to the little niche I've got going with info and stuff. But of course, Brent will stick my face up in there and show me. And I'm like, no, I gave it to you. You could have just taken credit for that.
Well, I think it's important that once people starts getting into Bigfoot research, you don't want to embellish your qualifications. If anything, you want to underplay those. So when somebody looks into you, it's like, whoa, let them be pleasantly surprised, not say, don't let them be, wait a minute, this is not right.
It's like a lot of people don't understand that I've retired from being a private investigator back in October.
Oh,
I have. Doesn't mean I don't still have the tools and skills and the skill sets.
Right.
I've actually retired. So I kind of try to crop that out on my deep dives, and sometimes I forget to do it. But it doesn't matter. I get my license back tomorrow, and I probably will anyway. But I'm really not actively working in that field right now. As people know, I'm working in EMS right now because I just needed a break from all the crime and all the shenanigans that go on with it and all this angst. So we move on, but still.
Good idea to keep the license, though. Keep it on the back burner in case.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And of course, New York, it's not a cheap license either.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's between that and the bond, it's over $500 for every 2 years. Yeah, good old New York.
Man.
But you're right. And my idea a lot of times is I try to stay in my lane. If something is big, if something's going, and this is kind of the way I'm feathering it out, because let's face it, and I'm not saying, I'm not pointing my finger at anybody in particular. So please don't take it that way. But sometimes people will have a personal gripe against somebody and they will send them over, hey, I think this person's hoaxing, and chances are they could be and are. But sometimes you want to avoid, there's been battles that are too minor for me to take. And people ask, well, what do you mean? Because Brent tackles a lot of things that I wouldn't tackle. And I'll give him credit for that.
Yeah.
I tackle the big stuff. When something starts making the rounds around the entire outer Bigfoot community where everybody's buzzing about it, like the Bigfoot face, then I will step in and put it into it. That's what I have always done.
It's important to expose misinformation, especially in this hobby.
So there's a guy, and we talked about him on the Bigfoot News on Friday. If you missed it,
check it out, Henry.
Yeah, actually he did. And I think that's why he wants. Gatewood would never get in the same chat room as me. Would never do it. He wouldn't come on this show, but he'll come on shows where he thinks he's going to have carte blanche and no pushback. Support, that is the tactic of these people that have very flimsy evidence. Now, I'm not saying that Todd's hoaxing anything. I'm not saying MK Davis is hoaxing anything, but they take the same tactic that a hoaxer does. Because why? A hoaxer doesn't have a lot of evidence, right? So when you don't have a lot of evidence, you don't want to take it to the court of public opinion where you're going to get tough questions or you're going to get grilled. You want to go to the places where the forum is going to let you speak and speak naturally and freely. Right?
Yeah.
So I really think that, that kind of thing is never going to happen. Likewise, if somebody asked me to come on a show, and I've done that with the RMSO when they wanted to ask me questions about the Bigfoot hoax, because they were trying to get some leverage on me because I've always kind of hit them pretty hard. I have receipts for everything I do, so I have no problem. Somebody wants to question me or grill me on the most controversial thing I ever did, which was the Bigfoot body hoax, where I ended up busting that. I will gladly sit on the hot seat and take all the questions and answer them and have receipts for those answers.
Yeah.
But
everything you need to know is inside the covers of 50 large.
No, well, everything I need to know is inside right here.
Oh, yeah.
Because the fact is, and this is a major problem with hoaxers and why you can't get a person like Mike Patterson on there from Sasquatch, Ontario. You can't get a person like Jeff Patterson, the Squatch Master. You can't get them on shows like this because their information's not here. And I think we showed that with our Vault of Nightmares video when somebody asked him what contractor he worked for, and he was like, and then the person interviewing said, Blackwater? Yeah, Blackwater. Right?
Yeah, that's a ticket. Blackwater. Yeah.
Right. You know what? Ask me who I've worked for before. I go, who did you work for during this time? Let me think. Oh, it was this company, right? Or it might have been this one,
right?
But I wouldn't sit there and go
blank, right?
Right. And that's the difference between somebody who tells the truth and has to think about the story and not to screw it up.
Yeah,
and that's.
Finding the track.
There was so much wrong going on there, though. There was he couldn't keep up with his lies,
right?
So it just.
The guy, his kid or whoever it was, shaking the tree, and you could clearly see the blue jeans off in the.
So, I have one tip to everybody. Like Nikki, I have a tip for you. I have a tip for Brent. When you go do these shows, that where you may get a little hit back, do not watch the chat. Do not get sidetracked by that.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I never do is when I'm on a show, I rarely watch the chat. You can see when somebody's trolling this channel, I watch the chat here now. I went to my own show. Mm-hmm. So when somebody trolls it, you see me distracted a little bit.
Yeah.
And I take it personally. And the other thing too, is when somebody trolls you on another show, the only time I really responded was when Mike Patterson, I stopped in. I didn't really appear on the show, but I was in the chat on what's his name's Mike's show there.
Red Creek Mafia.
Red Creek, yeah. And Mike Patterson started running his mouth a little bit, and I put him right in his place. He made a snide remark. Oh, is that the hoaxer Mike Patterson? ? No response. A little while later, he says, oh, Kulls is just an apron, doesn't have any experiences, blah, blah, blah. I go, and I was like, really, no experiences? Why don't you get yourself educated before you speak? Or I made some comment to that effect. And guess what? He shut right the hell up because he knew he was wrong. haven't had experiences. I've had so many friggin' experiences over the years. 2 sightings, but a lot of other experiences, rocks thrown, whoops, vocals, tracks, all that stuff. You know, thing is when you're sitting there being a minor leaguer like Mike Patterson, and the only reason why he's a minor leaguer is because he can only get 1 or 2 different types. And look at what was that? The gorilla masks that he used.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? We had a friend take a look at him. For anybody's familiar with the Trailer Park Boys, we had a friend take a look at those, and here's what he had to say. That's a 9-footer. I knew those were real. So that's Bubbles from the Trailer Park Boys, folks. So,
oh boy. I know it's real.
Oh my goodness.
But
so crazy.
But yeah, so I always look at that, when a person that puts out that kind of garbage, does it affect me personally? No. I laugh. Do I take it personally? No. Now, I know Brent has had some things happen to him that were quite nefarious. And if I can go back to 2008, the same thing was done to Lauren Coleman by Rick Dyer.
Oh, wow.
Right. And another Australian researcher that was debunking his claims in 2013, same thing. The fact even that Dyer had worked up a newspaper article and actually put this guy's name in place of the actual person that was arrested. So, right. So when stuff like happens, that I take personally.
Yeah.
And the thing is with people, don't normally do that to me, because I will bounce on them so hard. I will.
That's the thing. Yeah. With the personal attacks, that's just wrong. It's not about emotion. It's not about, well, so and so just blah blah blah. No. It's about the facts. It's about the evidence.
Yeah. It goes back to the whole Gatewood thing when I said, hey, listen. Basically, I said to him, I don't mind you debating people on my, on my page, but just don't insult them.
Yeah.
And then what did he do? He responded by trying to insult me. Yeah. Well, you know what? If you have the average maturity of a high schooler, then goodbye. And probably even middle schooler, because that's the maturity level. Thinker Thunker tried almost a year ago. You need to remove these videos. You're defaming me. And no, I'm not. I'm actually saying, hey, Thinker Thunker's wrong about this.
Right.
It's not a personal attack. But then he tried to make it a personal attack when he says, well, I can, you get 3 strikes and your channel will be taken down. Like, you do not know the YouTube policies. Here it is on defamation. And if you feel it's defamation, well, here's YouTube's policy on defamation. The only time I'm going to be mandated to take it down if it comes down by a court order.
Right.
Yeah.
Misunderstand the fair use clause too.
Yeah, DM Zabo, he says Thinker Thunker is Mr. Lawsuits. No, he's Mr. Talk About Lawsuits. You find that a lot of these folks will talk and not do. Oh, well, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to. Right. For how many years I've sat in this field, and that's why, where you do have a legitimate gripe to file a lawsuit is when somebody says some things about you, like what was done to Brent. Then Brent has a really good cause of action for defamation.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, because it affected other people.
Correct.
They were saying that it was he was a criminal. He had a whole criminal background in that he beat his wife. He's not even married.
Yeah, exactly. And
No, it's crazy.
Oh, my headset is dying.
Right. Oh no.
Listening to you guys out of one ear right now.
Oh
man, I can't believe it. It was only $8, 2-3 years ago. I need to spend another $8 again.
We do know somebody that was in the cryptid world that did have an abusive past, and there were receipts for that.
Yeah.
And like I said, I've erased him from my channel because he did appear on this channel once. Boom, episode gone. See you later. I want nothing to do with you. Because obviously, and it was a repeat offender. So obviously he didn't learn. So unfortunately, I'm going to take the higher ground here and say, you know what? I don't want anything to do with this person. Let them, again, I'm going to go back and stay in my lane. Right.
Yeah.
It's not my battle. It's not my battle to say, hey, this guy's this guy's that, and hate him. But I'm going to stay in my lane and say, thank you, but no, thank you.
Yeah.
The problems, again, the chats and certain bunch of these shows have been overrun by people that breed conspiracy theories. I know Brian and Chewy Go Hiking made a comment on that about that thinks, that one particular chat thinks that the CIA is keeping Sasquatch a secret.
I don't understand that.
Well,
government conspiracy thing.
It's what
how many people that would take, how many people you'd have to have on the take to do something like that.
Yeah. And anybody that's talking strangely can never bring any receipts.
Yeah.
Right.
That's true.
I mean, if you look at one of the most amazing, whistleblowing events was Bob Lazar, and the government denied him being involved with Los Alamos and all these other things. And then it was George Knapp who actually got the Los Alamos phone book, and there's Bob Lazar's extension number on there. Right. But the government had denied he had ever been there.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Right. So that's a receipt. But none of these other folks, I was at St. Helens when they took the Sasquatch bodies away,
Right.
I was part of the secret program. And the funny thing is that I did have one guy who claimed he was, two guys now claimed being a secret program. That was a guy by the name of, I can't think of his name right now. He's in my Hall of Shame, and I only dealt with him once, but he was calling me saying he was part of the CBs and he had a special team and he knew them. The Army had this team going around killing them, and I was a sniper for the CBs in case something happened. I would be the sniper, and he was going on and on and on. And then he sends me a picture, sends me this picture of a video that was posted like 2 years earlier, and that was declared a hoax. It was a guy, it was a woman walking with two of her kids, and it was something moving back, and it turned out that it was somebody in basically a black hoodie that was running by really fast, and everybody was calling it a Sasquatch. But he tried sending me that and saying, we got this morning on our trail camera.
Oh,
right. So that's how that happens. And then we got Walt, another guy who claims he was part of this ultra secret force. And you can take several of his blatant lies right there and disprove them with very limited receipts too. You don't need receipts to prove it. He's just lying. And so the problem is that conspiracy, there's people who are willing to believe conspiracy theories without receipts, are willing to believe anything without receipts, are willing to defend things without receipts. They're willing to look at evidence that is, and have a biased lot towards them to turn that in evidence into their hypothesis rather than turning the evidence into the hypothesis.
Right.
Chris, take over for a second. The office assistant is knocking at the door.
Well, if I can hear. Yeah, I'm working on
the dog eating her treat too. She had to bring it right here.
Well, usually with mine, they're upstairs barking, so they usually chime in about this time during the show anyway. But yeah, Nikki, I noticed you've got a friend in Cloudcroft, New Mexico, that you spent some
Mhm.
time with up there visiting every now and then.
Yeah,
And I just wanted to get
easy.
your opinion. Yeah, what did you think about that area?
Oh, it's beautiful and it's super squatchy. It's super, how do you put it? It has all those perfect things you need, the water, the shelter, the hiding places, the diversity of, the elevations from the 6,000s all the way to 8,600 at the top there. Um, so it's a good area. It's not very populated either. You have your little group there in Cloudcroft, but the minute you start to go away from there, it's not a whole lot of houses out there. So there's a lot of opportunity to not have to actually go too far to be away from people.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's a super super area, and
But it's beautiful.
I was there
It's
in the mid '80s, and I had met a couple of guys coming out of La Luz Canyon one time, and they were kind of shook up backpackers, and they said
Mhm.
they had been camping up in the canyon, and the Bigfoot had screamed at them. And of course,
Mm.
me, I'm like, at that time, Bigfoot is nowhere in my life. I'm like, okay, guys, well, you need a ride out? Yeah. But
Yeah.
they said they had left their campsite and everything, just left their tent. Of course,
That whole area has audios coming out of that area, out of the Mescaleto Indian Reservation and all the way up to Rio. So promising. It's promising.
and let's see, who is it? It's a Jesus. What's his name? Is it Paisan? Ryan. Okay, yeah, Jesus Ryan. I think he lives around Tularosa, somewhere around that area.
Yeah,
He does
right
a lot
there.
of research. But I never saw anything while I was there. Of course, I wasn't looking either. But the area looks, it would be super. I mean, all kinds of fresh water, and a lot of people misunderstand. They think, well, it's desert. No, they have a desert valley, but you go up in the mountains, and man, it's green. I mean,
It changes a lot from the bottom there to going up. And as a matter of fact, when you're up on the top of that mountain and they have those lookouts, you can see all the way straight to White Sands, New Mexico.
Yeah.
You can see the White Sands from the top.
All right.
Yeah.
So I often wonder why people that are so entrenched can't stay in their lane. Like, I have no problem with people thinking that Bigfoot is telepathic. Or, I mean, I have my arguments against it. And I will gladly say, hey, you know what? I don't believe it for X, Y, and Z. And this is, I don't believe they're sitting there. I don't believe they can cloak for X, Y, and Z. I don't believe they're UFO, riders for X, Y, and Z. But the instant you say that, they go on the attack. And that is not all. Let me clarify that. Not all, but there are some that go on the attack. Mm-hmm. And those are the people that usually have the biggest voices because they're screaming up and jumping up and down.
Yeah.
I think the majority of people that believe that stay in their own lane like we do. And, what Nikki and I do, besides, Nikki has done field research, right? Correct, Nikki?
I have. I've started. I just started. I'm not an expert. I'm not a tracker. I am a searcher, just doing what everybody else is doing, putting myself into situations where maybe I'll run into something that's out there, Yep. Yeah, I have a little book. I write down and I jot down my notes. I jot down certain things that are going on.
But here's the thing. People think, people like, Kulls doesn't research or, what do you mean? I don't put stuff out every day about research because I have nothing of substantial stuff to put out there. Right. I don't put out tree breaks. I don't put out grassy depressions unless they're relevant. I mean, everything has to have a relevance to like a sighting, a recent sighting. They have to have more than just one factor. But if I'm walking out and I say, boy, that tree break looks interesting, or that grassy depression over there looks interesting, that's not news. That's not evidence. That's nothing.
Nothing. Yeah.
Right.
It's nothing.
So
you're not out there taking photos of every tree break and then posting it saying,
or every tree line and encircling the dark spot saying it's Bigfoot.
Right.
Uh-huh. And there's a lot of that.
But if people want to do that, fine. I'll stay in my lane. They can stay in their lane, but don't bring it to me saying that's evidence, because I will shoot it down.
Right.
But that's okay. It's nothing personal. Woodburger Farm over there says, I think they can cloak. Well, that's your opinion. I appreciate it. You're entitled to it. I'm not going to knock you for believing that. I may sit there and debate you about it, but the reality of it is that it's nothing personal.
Jackie, are you referring to some of the stuff that's been happening, or my show in general? Because some stuff has been happening and I've hosted that onto my show. But for the most part, everybody knows what my typical show looks like and what I do. But I will address things that happen, because I don't want them to keep going on and on and on.
Oh, go ahead.
But
Nikki, this is your
say
platform.
that, like, that's all my show is about, is the drama. There's no drama in pointing out facts. If you want to take it as drama, then that's you. That's on you. Because the majority of the people who come to my show, I think they kind of enjoy it and they have a good time. So I don't quite understand if you're just talking about what just happened.
I didn't see that comment. Who's saying that?
Iron Dogger.
Oh, okay. So, here's my my take on the whole thing is that Chris and I had done a good job at trying to keep drama out a lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, if I'm sitting there saying, we've reviewed this and this is what it is, then that's that. It's nothing personal. You want to bring drama, and every once in a while, drama will try to make its way in, and what ends up happening, is that we end up booting that person. If they're going to troll it and cause problems, goodbye. We don't need you here. And but tackling issues is not necessarily drama. That's why I suggested this whole thing with the Mike Bueller, Brent and Dill thing going on.
Oh yeah.
Let's get them together, but let's not do it on the air.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need a bunch of people, trying to interdict the conversation going back and forth.
It's better to have
right.
Well, I don't know if
that tried to happen. That was the thing that we've been talking to Mike for weeks already, doing things behind the scenes. And the thing is that truths weren't coming out. So it wasn't moving forward. The only way to hold people accountable anymore is to do it in front of an audience so that they can hear what's coming out of their mouths, because it's hard for us to say, well, he said this, he said that. And then everybody's like, show us.
What's going to end up happening is that I can record it privately. I don't have to put it out there for public consumption. A lot of people don't know StreamYard can do that. Is I can sit there and record a conversation on StreamYard, and it'll tell everybody, hey, we're recording. But we hang on to that in case it starts to degrade afterwards. But I don't think we would find this the case between Mike and Brent. I really don't. You and I talked about this. I don't think that conversation would go the way it does. And I know Mike doesn't feel, I don't think he feels, either confident or that's word I can use, is confident enough to do this in front of public. And I agree. He made this day
because they're his friends, and he will not say anything bad about his friends.
Right. Exactly.
On live.
Right. So I think the bottom line is this, that, and Mike talked about that on the show. He wanted to stay in his lane, I think, on this whole thing now. And I think that's a great thing to do, is stay in your lane.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we all say that. You don't like it, don't watch it.
You know, Iron Dogger says, oh, so you can get views off the drama. Let's face it.
So?
So you get views off the drama.
It's a million views.
Well, look at YouTube, drama sells. How is it that I can do a Bigfoot story, right? We've done this. We've done Bigfoot stories. We put the Osman story out there. I've actually personally voiced stories from reports and stuff like that. And they do not do as well as talking about Todd Standing or talking about that, because they want the drama. So, and how much do you think somebody's going to make on a few hundred views or 500 views? Cents. So it's not about the money. So let's put that right out there. I remember years ago, somebody had emailed me after that whole the Bigfoot body hoax thing came down. Somebody emailed me, oh, how much money on all the clicks to your website did you make? I go, I'm sorry, but I don't get money for clicks on my website. Somebody goes to my website, they go, it's not like somebody's sitting there, oh, you went to the website, we're going to pay you. No, that doesn't work like that.
Right.
Everybody thinks there's so much money built into this that drama will. No, not at all. I think, and again, I think Nikki is trying her best to navigate this dilemma, because Mike is kind of trying to be a friend to everybody. Brent is trying to be kind of a friend to everybody, but and boom, there's opposing sides that, listen, I have no problem with Red Creek Mafia's chat, even though Mike Patterson was in there, big deal. He runs his mouth at me. I'm going to run my mouth back at him, but I'm going to have receipts to do it. So be it. It has nothing to do with Mike, has nothing to do with Brand, has nothing to do with nobody. And I think that it's very important that we all kind of take the personalist. And again, with Brent's situation, it's difficult because of what was done to him. So I understand that. But so anyway, let's progress more. So somebody asked early on about, how does debunking hoaxes make somebody a researcher? Well, very simple. You need to research to debunk stuff. When you're working on a computer, what do you think I'm doing? I'm digging and researching. That's a researcher.
Yeah. It's a lot of time. It's a lot of time to do that. Double checking. Somebody says this. Well,
okay. So now we have an ignorant comment. It's all about the money for the channels I've been watching for a long time. Yep. Okay. Right.
Well, some of them maybe. The ones reading emails.
Yeah. The RMSO. Hold on. Let's talk about the channels. For the channels. Well,
on YouTube, first of all, you got to have to, before you even get monetized, you have to have 1,000 subscribers. And what is it, Steve? Is it 4,000 hours?
They've changed that recommendation.
Yeah, I don't remember.
But who's the money really for? How about the Sasquatch Chronicles? How about the RMSO, who were continuously putting out recirculated items and garbage and stuff that's been debunked years ago? Well, let's put it back out there. Spin it up again. How many channels? I watched this video the other day. And he said, oh, the top 10 Bigfoot videos that we find really creepy. Well, you know what was in it? The Bigfoot peeper.
No.
The Bigfoot Peeper was in there, debunked.
Yeah.
1000% debunked. The Sean Bannon Bigfoot chasing a guy by the creek, 100% debunked. And there was a couple others, just to name them. The Mississippi Skunk Ape video, debunked 100%.
Debunked. Yeah.
Right. Hello, Bronze Age John.
Bronze Age John, welcome.
Pookie, somebody's from the old days.
Wait a minute. I remember that, yeah. Pookie and Chip.
Pookie and Chip. So, no, when you're pointing fingers at channels like us, that it's not about the Benjamins. And if it was about the Benjamins, we would be putting out videos every day of Bigfoot videos in improper context to clickbait somebody.
Yeah, the reality on YouTube is, even if you have a video that's got thousands of views, you only get paid a few cents per 1,000 views. So it's unless you're putting out like 1 million views a week or something like that.
Hey, Pat, so I would suggest just take a gander on some of the evidence analysis that was done on the channel. You'll find them very eye-opening, to say the least. So it's not necessarily about the money. And I appreciate the comment, not on this end. I mean, we're little channels. And the reason why we're little channels is because we don't cater to people that want to just listen to stories. We, regardless of their truth or not.
Well, here's something we missed, Steve, and Jeff Trader came up with it good. He said, "Pardon my ignorance, but who is Nikki Colon?" Yeah, can we have Nikki tell a little bit about herself?
Me? Sure. I've been in the community since around 2013. I started out just as the enthusiast, right? Going from channel to channel like everybody else. When I was in South Korea, all I had to watch was YouTube. So I spent 3 years watching everything and anything cryptid, Bigfoot related. And I started seeing patterns. I started seeing things that kept coming up over and over and over. And I knew the answers. I was watching the right people who were telling me where to look, what to see. And when I got back stateside, I just started chatting and looking up people. And before I knew it, I started getting into people's podcasts and telling them my opinions. At this point, I'm a camper. I've been a camper all my life, but not a researcher out there looking for Bigfoot. I've been camping my whole life and never seen anything or felt anything or had anything happen to me that I thought was suspicious. But I believed there was a Bigfoot because over time I started hearing people's encounters, learning about them, and I believed them that they had a real encounter with something out there, and there couldn't possibly be all these encounter stories and them all be fake. So I kept it up, and it became a great passion of mine and a hobby and whatever you want to call it during my spare time, raising my kids, taking care of my family. We were a military family, so much of that time I spent alone while my husband was deployed, and that was just my thing. Now that my kids are finally older and I can leave them alone now, it's getting easier because now I find that I can take these trips to go to Mount St. Helens and spend 5 days out there tromping around. I can go up to the mountains near my area. We did decide to retire, in West Texas, El Paso. So it's desert. There's nothing
Great
here.
area. Yeah, great area.
It's a wonderful area, but there's nothing here. I have to travel to do any kind of squatching or anything. Which is now I can start to do that.
So here's a funny thing. Woodbugger, I think he's just trying to wind up. Nikki is Fred Caney's apprentice.
that hurt.
Fred Caney, the Sasquatch Whisperer. I knew what he meant.
Yeah. No,
and he did too. He said, "I made it up. Sounds reasonable, though."
Yeah,
and then that mom asked if Fred is still alive. Oh yeah, he was so alive that he made a comment. It was kind of funny because this guy posted a picture of this very seriously bad footprint, and I am nothing against you, or anything like that, but it just, you could tell automatically, like, that's a phony. I've seen enough of them in my day. That's a phony print. And he says, like, I found this. What do you think? And people are saying no. And Dr. Jeff spoke on it. Yep, said something. And then Fred Caney starts to argue with him.
Oh.
I'm like,
yep. He just literally was fighting over him.
And of course,
Mike, triangle looking foot. It was so weird.
My comment to Dr. Jeff was, well, you have to understand, Fred is the Sasquatch Whisperer. Which
Fred has 32-foot Sasquatch that he talks to, so you have to bear that in mind.
I know.
Imagine a poop on a 32-foot.
Wow, that's a big guy. Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah, pretty. And they live about 300 years old. They're about 300, 400 years old.
Weird.
Yeah.
Poop. Yeah. Everywhere. Poop.
Eric Beckford commenting from the grave, from beyond the grave. Right?
That's crazy. That's weird.
Weird.
Wait. We do have a call-in question.
Hello, I would like to ask the Squatch Detective a question. Have you seen Bigfoot? Oh yeah, you have. Have you seen my stapler?
No, I haven't. Nope. Sorry. Anyway.
I wanted one of those, a red swing line stapler, but I never could find one. I know they have them. Steve's probably got one. He's probably going to get it right. But ever since I watched that movie Office Space, I always wanted a red swing line stapler. Do you have one, Steve? Yes, you do.
Oh, no.
They made them special. They had to make them because they were getting so many requests for them. So, of course,
oh my goodness.
I got a red swing line stapler, and it's the best damn stapler I've ever owned.
Yeah. Oh yeah, back when we was doing the online business, we did like staple orders together and stuff, and we went through so many staplers, man. And ever since that movie,
no, platypus crap everywhere. Have you seen their sanitation bill?
Oh man, the platypus jokes keep rolling in. Oh,
I know that's what he was waiting for. It's kind of funny for those who are wondering that listen to the show. We have, thanks to our good friend Mr. Federal, his trail cam caught a coyote doing his business right in front of the trail camera. And
that's nature.
That's nature. So we turned him into Ralph the raiding coyote. So anytime somebody tells a bad joke, Ralph will come out and voice his opinion. And right there, we've already turned Ralph's name into a verb because Jen said Trackway just got Ralphed.
That's
yeah, that's hilarious.
Uh-oh. Isn't that who sung that song? Can't you smell that smell?
Oh yeah, I can't remember.
Yeah,
it's been a long time ago. Ooh, that smell. Yeah, I can't sing it.
By the way, we have fun here, and that's the beautiful thing about it.
Yeah. Especially tonight when we have Nikki. I have a good friend Nikki on with us, and it's great. We can sit here and shoot the breeze, and
that's right. Leonard Skinner. Well, thank you, Henry.
There's another thing that Kulls and I have in common is that we both worked asset protection.
Yes.
I worked asset protection for 15 years.
I did it for many years.
And you did it for a long time. I lost my job. They they couldn't, on my last transfer from El Paso to Colorado Springs, I worked at Kmart. Kmart went under, so I lost my job.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was a tough company to work for. It really was.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing is that when you do a job like that, you do a hell of, I was prior to, I was lucky. I got into a job where they trained me in the Wicklander model of interrogation interview. They trained me in the Reed method of interrogation interview. They taught me the Wicklander neurolinguistics course.
I was scheduled for Wicklander, and I was due to have my first child, and they didn't let me travel to go.
But when you speak to criminals on a daily basis and asking questions, you can kind of pick up the patterns of people lie. And when you get these courses involved and stuff like that, because I mean, Wicklander's a week-long 40-hour course, and you get tested on it. And, you understand the psychology behind why people may lie, and you get their neurolinguistic reactions, you get the body language, you get all of that. And even, and you can ask any beat cop that hasn't had any training, that has any that may not even have any interrogation, they will learn after a while. You start seeing body reactions when people are lying, and it becomes almost second nature to you to see things. So sometimes I'll see an interview, and a person in that interview, and they may be even on a panel, they will make either a neurolinguistic comment that's like, ha 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 ha, and at the same time have a body reaction of something and going, okay, now I understand what's behind this person. And sometimes it's not always good. So that's when you generally start digging and digging and digging. And that's what Nikki's done. I mean, she may not be a field researcher. She may be new to the field research thing.
Yeah.
But you have been an investigator of sighting reports and pictures and evidence for many years now.
Here in my files, all right here. Y'all have seen me pull these things out.
Yeah.
That's all part of it.
Yeah.
I'm kind of old school. I like to have paper in front of me and write all over it and put my notes and my thoughts, and it's just faster for me to learn stuff like that. So,
well, I think what you're doing is a great thing, Nikki. I mean, you put the time in doing the research online and everything, and now you've moved on to where you're starting to do outings in Mount St. Helens. I mean, who wouldn't give their left arm to spend a week in Mount St. Helens? I would
right.
Love to go out there.
It was amazing, and with Thomas Steenberg to boot.
Yeah,
it was amazing. It was amazing.
What was it like to be in the field with Tom?
I was, when I first, we had gotten close online first. Okay. So I was kind of already comfortable with him, but having him there and seeing how serious he is, okay, when he wants to go out, and he has his logbook and all his gear, and very minimal gear. Okay. All he has is his monopod with his camera on top of it. And that's it, his bear spray or whatever. And that's it. And he's going out there. But the surprising thing to me was his sense of humor. And how he made light of all the situations. And he took great pride in scaring the crap out of me in the dark, a couple times. So it was great, because it really loosened us up. But he always made the point of saying alleged prints, alleged sign of, he will never say that's a Bigfoot footprint. He will never say just outright like that. You'll notice that everything he does and says it's alleged. You don't know. It's alleged, That's an interesting, tree structure, or that's an interesting trail right there, or it's so serious for that stuff, when it comes to the actual research and just
that's I think that's a very good approach to have too. Very methodical. That way you don't get fooled by something that, pops up later. Very, very,
Right.
very good.
And you know that with all of us, we had the right mindset, Jan and me and Brent, and that you're like in the presence of greatness, that you want to do everything right. You don't want to get too excited. You don't want to get too crazy. You just want to follow in his footsteps and watch how methodical he is when he's walking and looking at the ground. And I mean, the man drops to his belly looking at prints. He doesn't just sit there, he's on the ground with a little poker and he's looking and examining potential tracks. And it's just like, wow, yeah, that's dedication. He's very, very dedicated into what he does. And a lot of respect for him. And he's funny. He tells a lot of jokes. he likes to scare me.
I looked up to Tom for many, many years. I consider him one of the people to look up to in the field. And it was great to build this friendship with him. And Tom, if you're out there, hello, sir. We're gonna have you back on the show. I'll be contacting you in a few days because we got to get our Tom Steenberg fix here.
Oh yeah,
I haven't had that in a while. But we do have a question in chat. But I just wanted to say, question number one is: does Thomas still drive that Jeep?
He had I think he does have that Jeep, but was it a Jeep? Grant has a great picture of it. I don't know what it was.
Lester Taylor says, I call my toilet paper my logbook. Batmom has a question. She asks, Nikki, what is the one thing that has you completely stump on if it's real or fake? Great question. Thank you, Batmom.
If it's real or fake. Well, like I said earlier, I'm on the fence about a lot of things, especially the PNG and the Freeman footage. I have gone back and forth and I find red flags on both. But then I find more that it would be real. So that's why I don't try to let that overcome me. That whole try to put a label that, yes, this is real. That's why I need to believe in Bigfoot. And so I try not to do that anymore. Because it kind of puts you in a different mindset when you do that. I believe in Bigfoot. PG is real. There's no doubt about it. Now you got all these other people who are going to fight with you about that. But to me, it doesn't matter. If it's real or not, it doesn't have any bearing to what I believe in. Because I believe people have seen this thing. People who have nothing to do with Bigfoot, people who are just rando people who were driving along and something crossed in front of them, or they're out there camping with their families and they had an experience. They have no beef in the community, they're just, it was random people reporting this stuff and they don't want to talk about it. They don't want to have any kind of publicity or anybody to do with them. Something happened, they reported it, and then that's it. Those are more believable to me than the people who go out there every single day and have a sighting every single day. Every time they go out researching, oh, we saw this, oh, we had eye shine, oh, we had howls out there, we had all that. When there's thousands of people and real researchers going out there and they have no encounters. And then there's these people that do. Every time they go out, something happens.
Yep. Yeah. So Wolf says, I'd like to find a good channel, but it seems all these channels lately are just doing it for the money and no evidence. Not true. Look at this. Look at this channel, Wolf. We put out evidence when it comes in, when we have it, when we can talk about it. And it's not very frequent that you get good evidence, at least not evidence that I feel comfortable with putting out there. So just understand that. We do a lot of analysis on this channel. We do some stories on this channel of some of the classics, and Nikki's channel again does a lot on breaking down hoaxes. So you're gonna have to pick and choose what you want, and we try to give you a full plate menu here as to what you want. We have stories, which we're not authenticating or not. We're doing a lot of right now. We're going through a classic series, which is going to drop once a week. Just a recounting of these classic Bigfoot stories that we all grew up with, but now they're in there and people can listen to them on audio and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But, regardless, you got to understand this too, is that if this channel was to supply me income where I don't have to work, I'm going to be doing more research. You understand?
St. Helens.
Right. We have to take up a big block of our week where we could be doing research, but we have to do something called work. So if this channel is a success and earns money that I can go out and do this without having to go to work, that's what the plan is. And it's to bring you, and when have I ever brought anybody bullshit here? Right? I'm about the truth. Nikki is about the truth. You're never going to find bullshit on either one of these channels. You're going to find receipts for the stuff we say. You're going to find receipts for the evidence. You're going to find receipts for the debunkings. So that's what we do here. It's all about the truth to me. It's all about the truth to Nikki. I don't give a crap about anything else, and I take every single case individually. Put my biases aside because I've had 2 sightings myself. I put that aside, and let's see if this is real or not. I put my investigator cap on. Yeah. Another good question. Are you concerned about how video AI is being introduced, and what will it mean for the future of hoaxing?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We've been talking about this for over 8 months, maybe now. I told you guys last year that I knew this was coming, that AI was going to be getting better and better. They're going to start learning. Those systems are on this loop of learning. And the more and more we use it, they learn how to fix things. Okay. So those programmers, they tell that program to shoot out into the internet and pull from all these different places. And it's going to get better. It's going to be really good pretty soon. I just hope that we humans can also create a program to help us identify these CGI creations, because hopefully they can tag these AI photos and videos so that when we drop one into images, Google images search or whatever, it'll automatically propagate saying that this was a CGI image.
I know who Bronze Age John is now. So, thank you for joining us, sir. Glad to have you here, brother. And for me, there's something about AI that's not natural, similar to CGI. Yeah. Like we've debunked like the Independence Day footage. That was CGI. And it was very easy to show where there was missing pixels. Like when it ran behind the rocks, there was a few patches where the rock cut off half of the creature, but at other points it cut off 3/4. So it was you could tell it was a flaw in the way the CGI was layered in there, which is very common for these amateur apps and stuff like that to do. AI, I've played with some things just to see what it would look like. And I kind of figured it was you, but you just confirmed it. Had my suspicion, but I got the receipt. See, we don't ever say anything until we get the receipt. The same thing with AI. It doesn't flow as natural as a normal human being. And I think that is going to be a consistent problem. Now, photos is a different story. Like the latest one, there was a lot of talk about, oh, maybe AI made this photo. Well, number one, the photo was posted in 2022 before all this, before 2023, which is where all the AI started coming out. Yeah. So this was posted before AI, and it looked like, to me, it looked like an Adobe layered Photoshop job where they took a picture of a gorilla and layered a human on it a little bit and gave it some characteristics, and however they do those things. I didn't even know how to, yeah, the blending. I didn't even know how to do that stuff on I mean, I'm good at breaking it down, but I couldn't do that.
Well, you've never tried because, you know.
Oh, I believe it or not, I've looked at Adobe Photoshop and I'm like,
why would you want to make a fake Bigfoot face?
It would take me a week to figure out the program. Certain programs takes me a long time to figure out.
It's going to get better. They're going to fix the hands, the feet, all of that stuff's going to come around. And
well,
and right now, you know, they're fighting in the court systems about the whole copyright issue with pictures and photos and stuff like that. So that's going to be coming up too, is that because of those search engines and how they send them out there to make photos and portraits and pictures, they're saying they're stealing real artists' work to generate those. And they're trying to sue a bunch of these big AI people, but they have to do three things. They have to either say, the courts have to say that when you generate a AI picture, that one, it belongs to the person who created the AI, or two, that the picture belongs to the AI generator themselves. Or what was the last one? The last one being that it belongs to wherever they got the source from. Right? How was that? It was three different things they're trying to figure out, because they have to put that in the books for the future. You know, who gets a copyright on that stuff, because it's stealing artists' work.
Supposedly.
Yeah. If you say, draw a picture like the Mona Lisa, or somebody alive, somebody working now, their photos, and it'll go search and find their exact pictures in the web, and that's how they create the new one.
Well, there is ethical AI and there's unethical AI.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Grasshopper's got a good point here.
Yeah, Pete hang on.
Go ahead.
Pete H is the video of the Sasquatch carrying a baby reel. It sure looks authentic. No, it's CGI. And if you watch the video on the channel, I actually break it down where it actually, or maybe I haven't done that one. Oh, that may be an analysis for an upcoming.
I know you've done it, but I don't know if you released it out on video.
I have not, because it wasn't done for the YouTube channel. It was done for a television program.
Yeah, I've seen that. We've talked about it.
Yep. So it's not real. It's CGI, and you'll see that. You'll see that when the TV shows come out, and I'll announce when they come out. So.
And Grasshopper had said that people have to patent their identity to go after deep fakes. Yeah.
Right. So let's go back to the original. We kind of segued over the AI, but Bat Mom Nikki did bring up a good point, Patty. Why don't we have a video like the PG film? Is it because we were right? Because we write the other videos off as fake, or does it have to be with the digital cameras and autofocus? Or is? Well, I do believe it's a great point, but I do believe that the problem now is that the problems are with autofocus. They're just not built to take pictures in the woods or something. It'll focus on the nearest thing. So it really has problems focusing on, Gimlin, Freeman, Freeman even had kind of, even though his video camera probably did have autofocus on it, it It was one of the earlier autofocus, and I find some of the earlier photographic gear was easier to take pictures in the woods than the newer stuff. Newer stuff messes it up quite a bit. So while people say, well, everybody's got a cell phone, but the technology to take pictures in the woods has actually gotten worse because of AI in the phones, or the algorithm within the phone that's trying to focus
filters.
Yeah. And the filters just it won't handle it too well. But I want to ask Nikki a question. Why do you think the PG film and the Freeman film held up for so long? I mean, I have my own thoughts, but I want to hear your thoughts.
Okay, I believe because number one, you've got a group of people in the community who want to believe so bad that this exists, that's their Bible. They hold on to it like the Holy Grail, because it hasn't fully been debunked. There's things about that film. Let's just talk about the PG film that has been analyzed to the hilt. The walking, how it walked, how far, how tall is it, all of this, which I think is kind of, we weren't there. Is it really the right one, that it's that tall? I don't know. But for being a photo or a video from the 1967 and comparing that to everything else we had at that time, it seems pretty realistic that it's walking. It doesn't have that baggy look like you can immediately identify on fake,
Right.
fake suits just hanging off the skin, like hanging. That's one of the telltale signs that when you're looking at a picture that, PG doesn't have that. It has that, I don't know, the story behind it. It has Bob Gimlin to this day and sticking to his stories, and all that matters, and that's what makes people believe and be very loyal as well to have those. The same with the P&G. You've got, with the Freeman footage, you've got people on both sides.
Right. You know what? I think personally they've held up because of the documentation in both of them.
Mm-hmm.
People want to believe, like the Mississippi Skunk Ape video.
Mm.
They want to believe in the Independence Day video, and there's zero documentation. So they get, after a few years, they get fettered out, shot down, like, oh, look at this, look at that, look at this. And they're gone, But the Patterson Gimlin film, the Freeman film, had all this documentation and extra video. I mean, we see the whole process in both of their films. We see it in the Patterson Gimlin film, them riding the horses, and them in the after effect, the tracks. We see the same thing in the Freeman film. Well, the reason why I leaning towards they're more authentic is because they offer more on their films than everybody else. We just see the creature running. That's it, gone. No context, no nothing. There was a photograph taken many, many years ago in LaSalle Falls, Wisconsin. The guy was posing for a picture, and it looked like there was a Bigfoot behind him. And he was like, I don't know what this is. He goes, I didn't hear anything. I didn't see anything. I didn't smell anything, but here it is. Well, can you send me the rest of the pictures on the roll? He goes, I'll send you the index print. And he did. So to me, automatically, I go, well, this guy's clearly not hoaxing this. This guy is clearly saying, I don't know what it is. And we ended up finding out that it was actually black rock that had fallen in the background. It was actually a cliff, a black rock cliff wall behind him. Mm-hmm. And it just happened to. So the whole idea is that at least when asked, this witness provided the provenance and the GPS coordinates so we could see the before and after. I dare you to even find who if you can't name that person who filmed the Independence Day photo. We don't know. who filmed the Mississippi skunk ape video. That was a guy by the name of Josh Highcliffe. Well, we try to find Josh Highcliffe. He doesn't exist. He exists only as a character name in a TV show, right? And that was the first time that was really aired was when Josh Highcliffe, the phony Josh Highcliffe, put it out there on a website or on YouTube, and that was the only time. So there are, and then we never hear from Josh Highcliffe again. He's not posting on his Facebook page. Only that one post with the picture. Same thing with the YouTube page. In fact, his Facebook page doesn't even have the video on it. So my thoughts behind that whole thing is that the reason why these films stand up was because these people were so available to anybody. They were open books to people. Hey, listen, here I am. This is what happened. This is my real name. This is what really happened. Yada, yada, yada. That makes it more credible and survivable than the Independence Day photo, the Mississippi. I mean, why do we call that the Patterson-Gimlin film? Why do we call it the Freeman film? Why do we call it the Pridgeon video, aka the New York Baby video? Because all of these people have come forth, given their name, and said, "Hey, this is what happened."
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. For sure. They're great. They're part of our community. All of that stuff just builds and it's part of the history.
Right.
I would not want it because it gives us character. It builds, hopefully it leads you to better things.
What gets me
Patterson-Gimlin film, though, it was filmed on 16 millimeter film strip, and that's grain, not digital. And so that's why it's so clear, regardless, maybe I'm still on the fence about that on the Patterson-Gimlin clip, because there's things I like about it and there's some things I don't like about it. But the quality and the clarity is there. And if we had used a digital camera, believe me, it would not have been there, because the pixels versus film grain is that there's no comparison.
Right. Now, I had just lost what I was going to say.
I'm sorry, Steve. But with Freeman's, he did his with a camcorder, and of course, that's pixels, and it's not as clear as the Patterson-Gimlin film, even though it's made, about almost 30 years later.
Well, the Freeman film actually was not pixels. Neither was the Pridgeon video.
VHS, right?
Yeah, that's not pixelated. That's not digitalized. The actual film itself is not digitalized. It's on a film. It's just in a different type of film media. It's on a magnetic tape. Whereas your camcorders now digitalize them and imprint them on a drive. That's the difference. So that's why you can garner a little more detail in frame and film, and that's why it's not pixelated. It's actually grainy when you're looking at that. When you zoom it in after it's been digitalized, that's why it's pixelated. And I know this because the Pridgeon video was shot on VHS-C, and then it was transferred to VHS, and then it was sent to me, and I popped that tape in my VCR, and I didn't see pixelations. I saw grain. And then what happens is that you take that videotape and then you put it in CD format. And believe it or not, the CD format even did not digitalize it where it became pixelated. It was still grainy. It wasn't until you took that CD and put it over to the computer where the pixelation began because of the processing.
I'm going to disagree with you, Steve, on this one, because to me, if you have a film camera with film stock in the camera and it rolls, that's going to shoot it in film grain. If it's digital media, it's got to be pixels. It's got to be pixels. Doesn't matter whether it's on a magnetic tape or a magnetic hard drive. Doesn't matter. It's got to be pixels. That's we're going to disagree on that a little bit.
Entirely possible. Yeah, entirely possible. What I do know is that I've seen the crisp and clear Pridgeon video.
Yeah.
And that's why I've kind of maintained high quality digital downloads of that, because when you look at that, it's like, wow, you can see so much more. It's like you can look deeper into it.
Right. When they first started coming out with all these digital cameras and everything, I was just like, oh my God, this is great technology. We're going to solve this Bigfoot mystery, you know. And you remember the little jazzy pocket camcorder I had huge faith in this thing. I'm thinking, oh my God, this is gonna be great. And it turns out, no, it's not great at all. Matter of fact, it's pretty crappy. But now you got the new cameras on the new phones, like the iPhone. I could shoot something with my antique iPhone, and it puts out 4K video. It is clear, it's great, but the only problem is the autofocus. When you go out into the woods, okay, now instead of focusing on the Bigfoot creature that you might be trying to see 50 feet ahead of you, it's focusing on the tree right next to you.
Right. Now, has anybody seen the Leaping Yeti video?
Yes.
Your thoughts on it?
I thought it was an escaped something. What was it? An ape? An escaped ape or somebody. What was that one? Wasn't it a pet? Because there was a dog that wasn't responding or something in the photo or video or something. I don't know. I can't remember that one. I mean, I remember seeing it. I everybody knows the leaping thing, but it looked like a regular ape to me, chimpanzee or something.
Truthfully, I don't remember it. I've seen so many, and
I'm thinking that's the one where the dog was sitting there, not even responding.
Right.
If it had been a real creature, that dog would have been going apeshit.
Well, again, my whole point of this would be, and it's very difficult because this is in another country across that we are not very friendly with it at this moment in time. But let's leave the subjective stuff out. What's the story behind it? Who's the person behind it? You start looking at when was it shot? Where is the before and after videos that were shot the same day? That's what I would ask, because that would give it provenance. If we just look at a video from the tactile, emotional response that we may have from it, we're going to end up biasing ourselves a lot of times to what it may or may not be. So I'll look at a film and I won't make any judgment on it, and I'll start looking at the background on it. Well, do we have a name? No. Do we have this? No. Do we have yes. And that's the way.
This is not coming from the same group that shows the Bigfoot driving the car and driving the tractor.
No.
Okay. Well, might be worth taking a look at that. That makes from the same guy that's got Bigfoot driving the car and talking on the telephone.
No, and enormous Jagan says it's not human. No, nobody says it is human. Some people are thinking it may be like a pet.
It does move like a real ape. So, yeah.
Well, Steve's got a short with a Yeti tearing up a backpack or something. If you hadn't seen that, you need to check that out. That's what I thought y'all were talking about, the leaping Yeti. He does several leaps and bounds over the cliff there.
It says it was from 2015.
Yeah. And lately, given the fact that ever since the 2010 or so, the Russians have really been pushing this agenda. The Russian research has been pushing really this kind of hokey agenda. When Meldrum went over to Russia, he said the whole thing was kind of like a put on. Did not feel anything was really authentic going on. There is another one of, the Yeti in the cage. Remember the Yeti in the cage, or the Bigfoot in the cage? That turned out being fake. And then we have now the driving Grisha, the driving Bigfoot. Right? Yeah. When is the nonsense going to stop from over there? The only thing I really found really cool over there was the one where they were where the Russian family was driving and they had seen one on the side of the road, and they pull over it, right?
The field, yeah, on that side.
That one I kind of like. I kind of like that one because there was some prominence to it.
Well, I just watched the Leaping Yeti video, and officially, I'm out. No, no.
I just sent it to you, Steve.
Okay, so Steve is going to take a look live right now.
Yeah, you gotta see this. Yeah.
All right, so here we go. Okay, I got to see this. So you're going to get a live reaction. Here we go. We're going to clip this one for a short. So right now, I am going to take a look at the
it's an old video.
Bigfoot Almasty caught on tape in Russia, 2015. So here we go.
It's just a minute long. That one.
Yeah, it's not very long.
Yeah.
Sorry about my thoughts. Okay, here we go. The film. Watch closely, it says.
Yeah. I don't think you'd have to watch it too close.
I'm just trying to stabilize the video in my head.
Yeah, I had never seen that before. And I got my first look at it a few minutes ago.
I've seen it once already. Now they're panning to another area. And
there's the link if anybody wants it, but I don't think it's highlighted because I'm not.
Okay, I don't need to zoom it in. So what I will do is I will transcribe what was said.
Oh, yeah. I want that done on the Igor Burschev one, too. The one where when the car's driving off and he says there's stuff being said. I want to know what they say there.
Yeah. There's no captions on it right now, so I may have to play around with that a little bit. But I would like to understand what they're saying. And again, one of the big problems I have here is has nothing to do with the Bigfoot at all. So you're going to sit there with a small child there with this wild Bigfoot running around the forest and not protect your son. You're not going to tell your son, get out of here. You're going to take a picture and go, oh, look, there's a big blah, 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 blah. Right.
Yeah.
So that, again, that's a big psychological no-no. It's kind of like the folks doing the newspaper article after a Bigfoot massacre. It just makes no sense as to why, the kid's just kind of walking around. The kid doesn't seem that excited.
Yeah, there's nothing.
There's no. So we'll have to take a look at it. It's either somebody in a really good costume, similar to the one. It almost looks like the Sean Bannon costume, if it is one.
Pretty bulky.
Same type of movement, too, that the Sean Bannon one takes. And we got to remember, this is 2015. This is 9 years ago. So the Sean Bannon video was more relevant then.
Yeah.
So that's what, how I would take that. But yeah, it's an interesting one. Maybe I'll dig into it a little bit more. If I have time. I got so much on the plate. And of course, tomorrow starts the work week.
Oh man.
I'm just so enthusiastic.
Monday.
8 Mondays. Just because.
Well, I think that's one of the points. Though I think it's a little bit dangerous if you haven't had a sighting and you're into Bigfoot research. And you haven't had your sighting yet, and you're relying on these videos as evidence. Don't put all your, don't invest your whole belief on one video. Don't do
Right.
that. Because unless you were there when that video was shot, you don't really know.
And don't invest your belief on watching a video and saying, "Oh, that's real," or "That's fake."
Right.
You got to do the homework, or let somebody else do the homework. So Wolf asked, "How come you didn't show it on the People in Life?" Number one, I can't. Number one, I don't have a video downloaded.
Yeah, it would have to be downloaded and then re-uploaded on the stream. Yeah,
or downloaded and shared. That it's not. I was watching it off of YouTube.
Yeah.
So
live on the fly, we can't do that.
And I can't stream a YouTube channel either directly onto this stream because that's a violation of YouTube rules. So that would get me a strike. So I'm not doing it.
When I was doing that, it's because I wasn't monetized, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Oh, I can certainly download that video and
he can share it off of his tab there
under fair use.
Right.
Yeah.
If I'm going to break it down, but right now doing a reaction video without any context. I mean, there's certain things that you can do, certain things you can't. So, and streaming a YouTube channel onto this, I've seen some other major podcasts do that, but I'm not going to chance that right now. Because the major podcasts make a lot of money for YouTube. So they might look the other way to that. Just saying.
I mean, I've never gotten hit on it, so I just made the assumption it was because I was nobody. I had, I'm not, wasn't part of the.
So let me get into something. I see a conversation about the mermaids documentary, which we always know is fake. There was a series of quote unquote documentaries that were foul documentaries that Discovery was playing back in around 2012, 2013, 2014.
Mockumentaries.
Yeah. There was the mermaid episode. There was the Megalodon episode. There was the captured Bigfoot episode. And then there was the Datloff Pass episode.
Yeah.
And that Yeti, or that picture that they show on the Datloff Pass, was completely made up by the TV show. That was a fake. And I see that being circulated around the internet like it's real. It's not, it's fake. It was made for the TV show. The first time that ever showed up was for that TV show, which was fake. So why would you give it any credence to being real? Yeah, the Russian Killer Yeti. Yep, that was the Russian Killer Yeti episode.
Yeah. And when the Bigfoot Bigfoot captured video or mockumentary came out, I had family members calling me, they got it.
Now that goes back to the Alaskan Killer Bigfoot. Remember that TV series? Yeah. I don't know if they're doing a season 2, but as they were ending it, I turned to Sherry, my wife, and I said, watch what happens. Something's going to happen. Just watch. And then as they're going out the boat, oh, look, the cabin's on fire. Oh, told you. It's fake.
Man. Yeah. Henry said, on the captured Bigfoot episode, which is on History Channel, Kelly Shaw called a mooing cow a crazy crazy scream. What a crazy scream. Oh, no. We hear that all the time, Ooh.
And that's right. That's right. If they put a large iron cage in the woods, Bigfoot will walk right in.
Yeah.
Hey, didn't we try that already?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. There was in the Pacific Northwest, and it was the guy that produced the movie Sasquatch, The Legend of Bigfoot, and I can't remember his name. I'm sorry. But he created a Sasquatch trap in somewhere in the Pacific Northwest. Yep. Don't think it ever worked.
Do I have that? Oh, my.
Yeah, well, again, Mount Monsters again was another show that was Not real. It was
Love mountain monsters though. Loved it.
Entertaining as heck.
Yeah.
But was not a real show.
Yeah. Well, it got me when they were doing the episode about Kentucky and the Bigfoot of the Mammoth Caves. And so, I tuned into the episode. I'm like, what's going on here? Where are they at? And I start looking. I don't recognize any of these areas they're at. Then I started looking, investigating a little deeper. They were all filmed in West Virginia. So I said, well, okay, yeah. That's why I couldn't recognize any of the areas.
And they did have some actors portray people that had sightings and stuff like that. As did the Beasts of the Bayou, which had a character by the name of Josh Highcliffe. Right. So,
Bosworth, what was his name?
Josh Highcliffe.
The real guy. The actor was Bosworth.
I think Kevin Bosworth, maybe.
Something I can't remember his first name.
Brian Bosworth's a footballer. Kevin Bosworth, I'm pretty sure.
Well, let me ask Nikki. Nikki, if you had your choice, like say you was going to go out and make a documentary of your own, and you could go anywhere in the United States, say we'll keep it in the lower 48 here. Where would you go to make your documentary, and what would the subject be? What do you think?
Well, I'd really like to explore that LBL that everybody's always talking about. I'm telling you.
Oh, the one that it's impossible for there to be a Bigfoot.
Yeah, that one. There cannot be any Sasquatch there. Yeah, I'd really like to go there. I think it's a big possibility. I might get there at some point. Because my first one came true already. I went to Medicine Home.
What do I miss? Yeah, Jay.
I hear there's all kinds of other things though, Jay.
Oh, the LBL
Actually, I'm gonna get Jay to be my guide.
LBL is a cool area.
Yes, it is. Bring a Jeep.
And at night, it takes a whole nother. I mean, it is deserted.
Yeah.
With the exception of a few brave campers that may or may not be there.
Yeah. I mean, but no joke. Bring a Jeep, because if you get off in some of those backwoods areas, oh my goodness, it's bad. I mean, it's really bad.
Wow. Kaiju Ninja says, "LOL, the LBL."
Yeah. The dirt
that
roads
says,
become.
We should make a shirt, no Bigfoot.
In the LBL. Those fighting words. Those are fighting words.
Yep, those are fighting words.
Literally.
Well, I would love.
Now we know what to get Dave for his birthday.
Earl, welcome to the show. I agree 1,000%. That's why this channel tries to break that down, as does Nikki's.
I'm just trying to pull all this information and
So I'm beginning to think we know who the wolf is.
Well, I had spent the night over there. I did an overnight outing there with somebody that had a sighting like the day before, and I think it's a very good possibility that there's something going on at the LBL. Don't know what. I didn't see anything while I was there.
Bye-bye, wolf.
It doesn't matter.
Hold on a second.
Oh.
Enjoy the band.
Come on, Steve, man. That's a little heavy-handed now. Come on.
No, that was Pat.
Well,
that was Pat, because they've been making snarky remarks throughout the entire show. And then as soon as we brought up LBL, that first was to come up. Boom.
Yeah. Well,
right.
But I think the LBL is definitely a great area, and I think it would make a good investigation place to go.
Oh, look.
Well, we got Nikki. What about you, Steve? Let me ask you, if you had your choice to make a documentary anywhere in the U.S. that you could pick, where would you go? I mean, other than New York. I know you know New York, but I'm talking about somewhere else. He's gonna say New York.
Lower 48.
There is. I'd like to do a few documentaries. LBL, Fouke, Arkansas, and Bluff Creek. In Bluff Creek.
Good one. I thought about Bluff Creek
and
too.
And actually, if I had the choice to do a fourth, I would say the Dalles in Oregon. Because I've been to the Dalles in Oregon, and I've had rocks thrown at me in the Dalles in Oregon from a cliff.
Right. I would love to visit the Bluff Creek site. And now that who was it told said there's a new road that goes there, so it's not very walking. Well, it's walking distance friendly. Now.
Another reaction to the ban.
But you know, before I make a trip across the country, I'm going to have one of those RVs, and they're going to have to drop the price like a bunch.
I wish I did. Kaiju asked me if I researched in Washington. I drove through Washington. Unfortunately, I didn't stop off. I'm trying to think. Now it was Oregon that I did a lot of research in for a time.
Oregon got some big old hills too, buddy.
Yeah, matter of fact, coming back down off the hill, we found a truck turned over, still running. Yeah. we actually not really repel, but we very carefully made our way down the eddy there, and or holler, as Chris likes to call it. Yeah. And to take a look in the truck to see if the driver was still in there, but he was long gone.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Oregon and Washington State. Oh my God, it's so beautiful. And
Bigfoot
trees, you know.
Yeah, Bigfoot did that. Yeah, I know. No, I think what it was is they tipped their truck over because it was a very open road.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, I better go get some help.
Yeah. Although I'm really excited to do Cloudcroft this year, so.
Very.
I'd love to get back to Cloudcroft. I would love to get back to Cloudcroft. That's a great area. You know, if there ever was a place where a Bigfoot family or group could flourish, it would be that area, because they've got black bears there too. And if there's enough food for the bears, there's enough food for the Bigfoots.
Yeah. It's just that dang elevation, man. That's going to kill me.
But I watch your friend's channel in Cloudcroft. What is her channel's name? It's off. My mind draws a blank.
Desert Rat Gardener.
Desert Rat Gardener. That's great. She's got a great channel. So a little shout out to her.
Channel. Yeah.
Go check it out. Shows a lot of great looking videos. If you love scenery and stuff.
She's tough. You think I'm tough? Would be her more. That picture, because she does not put up with any baloney in regards to hoaxing or people making up stuff. She's right out there. She'll let you know that's malarkey. She'll tell you. So it's gonna be fun. She's gonna places. And hopefully one day we'll have the shindig there. Next year it'll be up in Canada. Hopefully we can do Harrison Hot Springs, but it may not. We're going to have our first meeting this coming Wednesday and talk about all that stuff, because it's time to start getting organized.
All right. Yeah, spring is coming. It won't be long.
Just coming. Gotta buy the plane tickets. Gotta do this.
Well, what about when you spent some time in South Korea, Nikki? Did you ever? Well, of course, you know. I don't know if you speak the language or not, but did you ever hear any local stories about anybody saying, "Oh, there's some hairy thing out in the woods"?
No, I never. Well, I wasn't like completely like out about my love for Bigfoot. You know, it was my little learning curve place there, but I did run into what I thought was a cryptid while I was there.
Oh, come on. Tell us about it.
Okay. So I was we lived off post, and in this high-rise apartment. But to get to there, we had to go around this lake. It's just a beautiful mountain city. Okay. Daegu is a mountain city.
Yeah.
And I was on my way back from a meeting on post, coming down this back road off of this lake. And all of a sudden, off the mountain, because it's cutting through a mountain, this deer comes running to the front of my car. I slam the brakes. You get the deer in the headlight, right? But it had fangs. And I was like, oh my God, I just saw a vampire deer.
Vampire deer.
And clear as day, big old canines. And it kept going off. And I got home and I was like, I know I saw this deer had fangs coming out of its mouth. It had fangs. And sure enough, they have water deer. They're called water deer, and they have fangs coming out. Of course, at the time, I didn't know that. I didn't know that there was such an animal. But they're around that area, and I never expected it to come out into the middle of off that mountain in front of me. But they're the craziest looking little deer.
Right. That would be shocking.
They are.
See a deer with vampire teeth.
Mm-hmm.
There they are up there.
Huh.
Oh, look, that one's called saber-tooth teeth.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I can see it from there. I mean, golly.
Yeah.
Those fangs are like this long. What the heck?
Yeah.
And it wasn't big, but it looked right at me, and I was like, oh, it had big old teeth first.
Well, nature is amazing, and it's wonderful. Yeah.
There you go. But you have the wherewithal to at least go, it's a cryptid. No, it's not a cryptid. Let me look it up first.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I came running in. I saw vampire deer. Saw vampire deer. And he's like, vampire deer? I go, it's real. So there's something there. And it linked me. It, when you put vampire deer, it kind of linked me to water deer.
So, Batman asked, did I ever go researching where Joe had his encounter? I've been close to there. I haven't actually been to his actual site. I know Mike and Tactical Bigfoot Research had been there with him at least once or twice, I believe. So in a really good area. I was close to that area, investigating something else at the time. Not at the time, but over time I've been to near. So that'll answer that question. But yeah, I would like to go out to his sighting area, and Mike knows where it is. And we'll do something like that, hopefully over the summertime or over the springtime or fall. Bill said Jen and I were there. Yep.
Oh, cool.
Yep. Yeah. So very interesting. Well, Chris, it's that time, and I want to.
Oh man! Yeah.
First, it goes by quick. First, I want to thank Nikki for coming on.
Thank you. Appreciate it. It was fun.
And I mean, it's nice. And so, Chris, do your thing, brother.
Yeah. Again, I want to thank Nikki for joining us tonight. It's always a great conversation. Nikki's always a great guest, and we appreciated having you. And I want to thank everybody over in the chat. We love our audience. We appreciate you guys. And if it's your first time watching on YouTube, or if you're listening to the podcast, go by the YouTube channel and subscribe if you haven't already. And if you have, we sure appreciate you and thank you. Hit the like button and consider, if you want to help support the channel a little bit, become a member. If you want to, we'll help bring you more stuff. And don't forget, Friday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern, we do the Bigfoot news as well as the Bigfoot Squatch-D TV show on Sundays at 9. And with that, I'll say, Steve, turn it over to you.
Yeah, folks, I want to thank Nikki for coming on tonight. And you can catch her channel. Go over to Sasquatch Secrets and At least it's not the hairy man. You know, is it Hoax?
Oh, you could never say that one, right?
I know.
A lot of
Secrets
people
is good.
That was another reason why I changed it.
Sasquatch Secrets. Go over to check her channel out. Subscribe to her channel. And hey, folks, don't forget to ring the bell. And
have fun storming the castle.
Have fun storming the castle. I love it. But folks, I hope you enjoyed tonight's show. Before we go, we just want to have one good belly laugh.
Now comes the part where we throw our heads back and laugh. Ready?
Ready!
So, folks, on behalf of me and everybody here, we want to wish everybody a happy, safe, healthy week. We will catch everybody Friday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, for the Bigfoot news. Who knows what the news is going to be? You never know. But anyway, folks, again, good night. God bless. And keep on squatching. We'll catch you all this Friday night.
Hey folks, you've been watching Squatch-D TV. Join us each week, Sunday night at 9 p.m. Eastern for the latest on the Bigfoot mystery. As always, we thank you for being our loyal viewers and encourage all to subscribe to our YouTube page at youtube.com/Steve Kulls. As always, have a great week. Stay safe. God bless and keep on squatching.